Alrighty, hello my friends, how's it going? So sorry about stream issues. Looks like I just checked the stream page and it does look like I'm being capped at 720p again today, which is really weird. I'm not sure what's going on with bandwidth over here, but we'll just have to make do for now. But you know, once the VOD comes out, the VODs usually I have them being recorded at least 1080p, so we shouldn't have any issues once the VOD is up. So you know, apologies for all the network issues in the past couple of weeks. I've had just like network problems with Twitch. Like I was doing fine, and then suddenly I'm having issues putting up frames to their ingest servers, which is super bizarre. I've tried just about everything now, like doing tests beforehand. I've tried, you know, resetting my network settings to something that's not as strenuous, reducing my bitrate cap, things like that. But it seems like it's still not enough for things to sort of resolve on that end, which has been pretty weird. But you know, it is what it is. For now, we'll just make do and kind of do what we can here. Yes. So anyway, let me say hi to everyone who is here. Hubert, hello. So sorry for the folks who were here 20 minutes ago and have had to wait. Captain Mal, hello. Jabrona, Smochin, hi. Shonies, LFK, hello. Niku, hello. Sahas, hello. ODM, hi. Jordan, hello. FC, hello. Big Macs and Onions, hi. Ivan, hello. Lamb, hi. Going to the gym, okay. Snowstorm, maybe it is the snowstorm, but maybe, I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. Maybe it's an infrastructural problem, but I couldn't tell you. Ru, hola, estos streams tan tarde no son buenos para mi salud, pero aquí me quedo un ratito. Pues lo que puedas. Gracias por estar aquí. Sloth, hi. Secret Myth, hi, how are you? Conan, hola. Abaddon, we can just do the usual and blame the government. It would be funny, yeah. Considering it's the, you know, State of the Union, I think, today. Which is pretty funny. Okay. So let's get started. 720p or not, we still have a stream and it looks like it's stable nonetheless despite that. You know, you'll actually have a better quality VOD once that's published onto YouTube. So okay. So as you can see, I'm like moving all these switches that I have. So today's build is actually going to be the TGR GSK 910. So if you do recall, this board is a board that has already been released in an aluminum version in the past, and this time they're planning on doing a drop for these boards in polycarbonate. And so it's a collaboration between you know, TGR GSK and Mechlovin Studio. If you do exclamation build, actually, there is, I did a little Notion page where you can find the information that I got from the designers. I'm not sure if the designers will be present here in the chat tonight. I mean, today, I guess this morning for them. But if they are, then, you know, they'll be able to answer some of your questions. But if not, you know, hopefully some of the items in the Notion page that I wrote will have most of the questions that you have answered. So just do exclamation build and you'll find a bunch of the info there. You know, here is the board that we're building. And so I already started to unpack it because I was taking a photo for the IG story just earlier. I did published, right? Sometimes, yeah, I did publish, okay. And so here we have the parts. So I'm just gonna take out everything that's in here. So it looks like we have some badges made out of resin. We have a daughter board. We have some screws, I'm assuming for the plate, probably. And then we have a hot swap PCB here with some stabs already installed. And then finally we have the keyboard. Warfinger, hello. Is this from a Keyset collab? No, it's not from a Keyset collab. Or do you mean the board? No. The board is not for a Keyset collab or anything. Or if you're trying to, if you're just being sarcastic, then yeah, no. Also no. So this is the unit. This is, hold on, is it focusing? Yeah, there we go. So this is the smoke polycarbonate version. It looks pretty dark. Actually, it has a, wait, is this the smoke one? Yeah, I guess it is. It has a tint to it though. Huh, very cool. Oh, that was just the case. It comes with a stainless steel PVD, rainbow PVD sort of badge over here. And then, you know, it has a typical 910 profile, which is sort of like, you know, a shelf and a wedge. And then the back portion here is the Toblerone. Yeah, it looks almost amber. Yeah, I wonder if it's the weight sort of like doing all these reflections on the case. And so we have a rainbow PVD weight as well as a rainbow PVD Toblerone. You will notice some blemishes here and there on the board as I start to build it, because this board actually has been used. I believe this is Mechlovin Flying's own board. So this is one of the prototypes that was made for that, and so it's been in use. There's like a scratch there, and I think there's one over here that I can see. But you know, pretty nice nonetheless. On the light side, obviously, because it's polycarbonate instead of alu. It is not BNIB, that is correct. So it comes with an alu plate. The default, as you will see on the Notion page, is with an alu plate as well. And you can have a choice of a solderable or a hot swap for the PCB. So, yeah. Gotson, hey. Ness, hello. I made it in, nice. Do you usually have other commitments, Ness? Wait, what time zone are you in, Ness? I'm assuming maybe that sometimes can be a hindrance. So here's a PCB, of course, designed by Mechlovin. So this is a Z65 hot swap with the blocker actually with no with nothing on the blocker under the blocker, and so yeah. So compatibility for the PCB, you have stepped and regular caps lock. Here we have ANSI left shift. We have a fixed 7U bottom row with the blocker section also blanked out. And then we have a forced split right shift section. So you have a short right shift, a forced ANSI enter section, and then a split or regular backspace here for the hot swap PCB. And there are a few sockets here that have been inverted top side down because there is the O-ring cutout here for the pillars on the case. I don't have an O-ring right now, so we will just be building it with top mount today. And so that's why you can find some of these flipped the other way around to accommodate for the O-ring cutout and for no interference of the hot swap socket. I believe for the solderable version you don't tend to have that issue. So yeah, that's the PCB. It's a nice gray solder mask, and it already includes a pre-soldered SMD RGB LED, or might not be RGB, might be single colored. Actually, that might be white or something on the caps lock section. And then, so by default on this particular colorway of the board, which is a Smoke PC, the included badge is going to be the rainbow PVD stainless steel, but GSK, Golden Star Keycap, is also planning on doing resin badges as well. So I have some samples of badges that they've sent. So there's one in a nice kind of blue grayish color, one in a sparkly sort of violet color, and then one in like a coppery gold color. Actually, it's kind of like a mix of glittery black and like sort of like a coppery gold color. Yeah. So let me see. Yeah, there. So depending on the lighting, it kind of looks different. It looks kind of more yellow and black there, but then if you like turn it around, it looks a little bit more coppery, bronzy sort of in color. And then this one's sort of like a sparkly, splosh, dirty purple. And then this one's sort of like a metallic blue, so like blue steel sort of color. So pretty cool. So let's go ahead and take out the plate from the case, which means we have to open the case up. So for these boards, I believe we need a hex screwdriver, M2.5, and then we'll take off the back plate first. Are those made out of metal? They are made out of resin. They are cast by hand in resin by the GSK team. So they are made of plastic, yeah. Usually going to be polyurethane. In some cases like epoxy-based resin, but usually I think nowadays a lot of makers cast in polyurethane. So the bottom weight is a stainless steel rainbow PVD weight, so it does have a little bit of heft to it. So it does have some heft to that. Looks like the daughter board would go right there. And then we have a copper weight in the middle. It's a long bar, which also features the design that goes through the weight made out of stainless steel. Okay. So then you go ahead and undo the 4 screws here underneath, which then dislodges this Toblerone shaped weight. So it might be easier if I just remove the screws first. Are there threaded inserts? I will confirm with you shortly. There it comes off. This is also made out of stainless steel and rainbow PVD. And so now doing the removal of the 2 weights now reveals the 2 screws underneath of the Toblerone piece of weight. So now using the same exact screwdriver, we remove all the screws of the case. Okay, so now removing all those 8 screws allows you to take off the top case. So now we can actually inspect if we have threaded inserts, and I do not see threaded inserts. So it is threaded directly into the polycarbonate. I'm assuming that the threaded insert would be a little thicker than than this. So given the bezels of this case and whatnot, it does not look like it has threaded inserts. I believe this is the same case for the GAF 910 in polycarbonate, but you can sort of see how the threads go through the polycarbonate there. And then there are indeed no threaded inserts for this case. You just have to be careful when it comes to polycarbonate cases. And so as long as you're not over tightening, over torquing, you usually shouldn't have any issues. But I have definitely heard of people who have had issues with polycarb cases with no threaded inserts. That said, I myself have a few boards with no threaded inserts in polycarb as well, and I personally have not had any single board give out on the threads, despite reassembling more than a few times. So I think as long as you exercise the bare minimum of caution, which is mostly, do not torque your screws when your screws are clearly not going through, and to also torque to the point of just finger tightness and no further. Usually, just being minimally careful will help not mess your threads on the keys. And also, of course, using the incorrect screws will also potentially mess with that. But yeah. All right, so there's our plate. So for the plate, we have a 7-point mount system, top mount system. So we have 4 at the top, and then 3 at the bottom, and the 2 here along the long edge here at the bottom. Also avoid the spacebar region, so well away from the spacebar. 1 between the left wind key, and then 1 between along the blocker area. And yes, do not use electric screwdrivers. Yeah, ideally. I mean, I prefer to not use electric screwdrivers in general, if possible. Like, I feel like the only time I'm using anything that's electric, like that, is like if I'm doing like actual like powered, like using like the drill based ones. Even like the handheld ones, I always use the lowest torque setting for them. It's usually okay like that. But yeah. Just use hand tools if you can afford to, though. It's really not that difficult. I think for keyboards in particular, you really don't need more than that to be able to put things together. Like, it's usually not that many screws, and it's usually not so bad. Can we hold hands while I use the tools? Yes. Okay. So at some point I will have to take this weight off to put the daughter board on. So I will for now just leave the case disassembled like so that we can address that later on, as well as if we want to interchange any of the badges, we can get to it later on. Maybe based on the switches and the keycaps that we decide to use. Okay. No clanker is allowed to touch my keyboard. Okay. So I believe these stabs are already tuned. It looks like I don't have to do any stabs today because they are already. Oh, those small screws are for the hot swap socket. From the top for mounting into the brackets here. Okay. To the standoffs, my bad. That's correct wording for it. Okay, so that's fine. Let's choose the switches that we want to use today. I haven't chosen, and I wanted to give people the option, the people who tune in, the option to choose. So I brought a variety of switches. This time I actually have a number of them. So let's go with the classics first. Other than the magnetic backplate and brand design, are the internals similar to the GAF 910? Yes, they are very, very similar to the GAF 910. I believe the plate is essentially the same. Which is like the 910 V3 or V2 design. Okay, so switches. Okay, so first we have Cherry Mix Blacks. These are, let me double check on what specs I have on them, but I'm pretty sure these are lubed. spring swapped and filmed. So we have Cherry Mix blocks. Then we have Cherry MX browns, of course, if we want a tactile experience. We have Cherry Mix browns. What is the plate? We have aluminum. Aluminum plate, aluminium. Then we have, for the non-cherry standard, we have a Gateron yellow patch, also lubed. Then I got 2 batches of switches from Bowl recently, and I also hand lubed these. So on one side we have the Gateron fade switches, and on the other we have the Gateron chocolate smoothie tactile switches. I can give you specs on those shortly. So let's see. Fades are, these are hand lube with 205G0, 62 gram springs, and these are full travel linears from Gateron, designed by Bowl. And then the chocolate smoothie ones are long pull tactiles, 3.6 millimeter bottom out, also hand lube with 205G0 and with 60 gram springs. So we have those. So we have some full travel linears, a different full travel linear that just has a milky housing, and then I have some long pull tactiles, and then for the classic appreciators we have Cherry Mix browns and Cherry Mix blocks. Stock springs on the GATs. So yeah, so the GATs all have stock springs. So this one has the 62 gram spring. I forget what the length of the spring was. This one has a 60 gram spring. I believe it's a long spring. It's like a very long spring, if I recall correctly from lubing those. And then these are 65 gram ish. 60 to 65 gram is like the estimate for yellow springs, but usually Gateron springs I haven't had issues with. So yeah, stock springs on all the GATs. All right, so I'll do a poll and you'll see the names of the switches all there. So switches to build on alu plate. So the first one is Cherry MX Black. These are all, you know, lube filmed springs, lube filmed, I guess. Lubed and filmed, yeah. So, and then Cherry MX Brown. And then we have Gateron Yellow. Maybe I'll put in parentheses linear, tactile, Gateron Fade, linear, and then Gateron Chocolate, Choc Smoothie. Let's say that. Tactile. Oh, I need to make it shorter. Tactile. Okay, tact. It has character limits. Actually, yeah, sure. We can do 2 builds. There will be time, I think. I don't think I need to touch the stabs today, so we can do maybe the 2 most popular in the poll, or the most popular linear in the poll and the most popular tactile in the poll. And then that'll kind of give us a good amount of variety. So, you know, just vote with what you think is the right. You just vote with what you think is the right right switch for it, and you know, we'll just go from there. Okay, just making sure that we're good. Okay. Have you built with GAT fades yet? No, not these. Not these. I've tried them before somebody else's board, but they're already built. So, and I think those were like the factory loop ones. These are, I like hand loop these, so they might be a little different. Maybe a little bit quieter even, probably. In the meantime, I'll just grab a few switches and test some of the stabs. Hey, Kirist. Hello. How are you? Good morning. Hi, Chris. Fades and browns. All right, fades and browns it is then. Oh yeah, these tabs are pretty good. I think they will be fine. Yeah, I think these are pretty good. This board was built at some point, so I think that's probably why. Pre-built at some point. I'm good. Good evening. Good. Happy Wednesday for you. Tuesday for me. Okay. This should be pretty quick because we already have stabs that are done, and I can just go ahead and install my little hot swap screws and just bam, 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 bam. Just go with it. So we'll just go with it. Let's see. I'm gonna need a smaller screwdriver for this one. Oh wait, oops. M2. Are you affected by the snowstorm? I was. New York City's Department of Sanitation does a really good job of clearing the roads. So my commute to work today was actually pretty uneventful. There's a few deep puddles here and there. Like, okay, like there is a lot of snow though. Like we did get, what's 20 inches or like 18 inches in centimeters. That's like 30, it's like 45 centimeters. 45, 48 centimeters of snow. So we got quite a lot of snow, but the plows did their job, and the Department of Sanitation is pretty great in New York, and they salted the roads and the sidewalks, and people got up early to shovel or shoveled like during the night and whatnot. So at least for my commute, it was pretty uneventful, and it was pretty nice, but it was still like cold, and so like there were still like some like icy puddles and stuff. Like on the way to work, I like definitely stepped on a puddle, but it's not too bad. It's manageable. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty grateful that it's like fairly easy for me to like move around the city even when we get big storms like this. But the snowstorm itself, like, yeah, it was super windy, it was pretty cold, and there was a lot of fucking snow. So yeah. "20 inches of snow here with 56 miles per hour winds. GG." Oh, yeah, that's a lot too. Yeah, I did hear like this nor'easter hit a lot of places pretty hard. So the Cape of Massachusetts lost power for 3 days now. Rhode Island got 36. Holy shit. Damn, Rhode Island got it bad. Wow, 36 inches, so 3 feet. That's a lot. You're also lucky it was 70 Fahrenheit here in Denver today. And Denver, who could handle it, isn't getting any. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just kind of too dry, huh? I guess that's kind of what's happening a lot all over like different mountain time zone areas where like they, would get snow in the mountains and stuff, or like even more regularly in the winters, just like in the cities. But Yeah, maybe it's just too dry. Too dry and not cold enough now, I guess, with climate change. I think I miss the snow until I hear stuff like this. Yeah, it's true. The snow is nice when you get it. You're experiencing it. When it just falls, it's kind of nice. You're like, oh, snow, yay, how pretty. It looks great. Nice, pure white snow. Woo, powder. And, you know, it's great for, you know, if you have fresh snow for, like, downhill, like, winter sports or whatever. Or, sure, like, if you're into cross-country, then cross-country. But then, like, a week passes, and that snow turns into ice or sludge, or like, dog owners don't pick up their dog's poops, and it gets all dirty, and you get these like random ass puddles hidden here and there, and then you hate it. So yeah, I'm just gonna test that spacebar one last time before I keep going. Okay, sounds pretty good. Oh, not the dog poop. Yeah, it's real though. Like, like I would say that's probably my peeve in the winter when we get a lot of snow and stuff like that. It's how like dirty it gets, and one of the main culprits is dog owners not picking up their dogs' poops and stuff when they go and walk their dogs like a few times a day. And that can be a bit problematic when, you know, you have a pretty dense population in the city with, well, also a lot of dogs, and there's neglectful owners out there. That part is the worst in my opinion. The other part that's obviously kind of like meh is like when all the salt on the roads degrades like your stuff, because like, you know, either like, you know, like the water splashes somehow and it gets on your coat, or like it's on your like boots or whatever, and you gotta like be pretty, you know, pretty good about cleaning those up after you go out. And you know, it's kind of annoying sometimes. Or I guess for the people who have cars, it can also like, you know, kind of wreck the underneath of the car. So okay, I'll update the build command shortly with the switch specs. Give me a sec here. Maybe I'll do it now. So okay, I am building it with Gateron fades. There we go. Those case walls look awfully thin considering there are no threaded inserts. The GAF 910 was basically exactly the same. So I'm not too concerned. Personally, I also own a TGR 910 RE, which is the PC version of the first 910, and that also was fine with no threaded inserts, to be frank. I think people, I think the idea of threaded inserts is nice, but it is true that threaded inserts like do have a high failure rate for cases. So like logistically speaking, in some designs it just doesn't work. It is nice to have though. It's like a nice quality of life thing, for sure. I would not deny that. I know, and I cracked my PC gaff. Oof. You did? Oh no. But yeah, snug tight. Do not over torque. Do not over tighten. None of the tighten to finger tight and then 1/4. No. As soon as you reach finger tight, like snugness for your screw, that's where you stop. But I know that for like, I don't know, people like when they assemble like furniture and like other things, they go pretty pretty heavy on the torquing. But it's true. I mean, there are a lot of other things out there that do sort of like warrant that, because things loosen over time. Especially, well, these are usually things that are like in constant motion. Or things that will experience a lot of vibrations. I think keyboards generally pretty small scale for that, so usually not a problem. Relatively stationary object. All right, that was uber fast. So that's great. And let's go with our good friend top mount son. I will never say that again, ever. That was cringe. Let's put these screws. Yeah, sorry. It slipped and now I regret everything in my life. Top mount kun. Yeah. Yeah. What are you doing, top mount, bro? All right, I do need to put the DV, so let's do that as well. So get our M3 driver, and then take out our weights here. 2 countersunk screws. And just carefully let that out there. And now grab our DB. And then now go ahead and looks like it goes this way. Nice and flush against this. Grab my M2 screwdriver. Or rather, okay, let's see now. Like that. Like that. And let that thread there. And then push through our daughterboard cable. Make sure there's no weird bends or anything like that. Now we can put this weight back, making sure that the cable doesn't get caught in between, and the channel for the weight is good. Diego, what are your opinions on PC boards as far as sound and feel? Personally, I really appreciate them in a very distinct way from aluminum boards because they inherently sound very different. Like plates are the easiest. If plates are the easiest way to change sound on your board, like plates and switches, like the combination of those, along with the keycaps, of course. But let's say you only have one set of keycaps that you want to use for that board. So plates and switches are the easiest other way to kind of change it up, right? The next other way, like the big way that you can change it up is by changing the case material. And PC is just like a completely different beast in my personal opinion. Like the sound of plastic chassis is so different. You can kind of appreciate this a little bit more on those like big full size OEM, you know, like vintage boards and whatnot, because those guys have this ginormous plastic chassis and then they have like the metallic interior, right? But like those cases can sound pretty nice because of that plastic chassis. Like if those were converted into metallic chassis, they don't sound nearly as good. It's kind of like a lot of like Alps boards kind of sound really good because they're in that roomy plastic chassis, and it's the plastic that really makes that sound. So I have a deep appreciation for like plastic cases in their own right. I think they can sound really good. I think they can create like, especially like boards that have like are made of plastic and have a good amount of like resonance, right? Like have a good amount of like echo and resonance in the case. It can be like a nice kind, you know, because the plastic doesn't create that like, you know, that pingy reverb that you see in a lot of metallic cases. And so you don't have that problem of like, you know, like people are like, oh, you know, you should like force break your case, right? You don't get that problem. So it's pretty sweet. So I appreciate them a lot for very different reasons. Yeah. Clickies and PC boards go well together. Yeah. I mean, linears can go really nicely together too. One thing that sometimes like PC boards might kind of do, like it also depends on the mounting method and all that for sure. Like depends on how the board kind of like transmits the sound into your desk and your surrounding area. But some boards like they can create a little bit of like that more like thuddy sort of like muddy sort of like sound when it kind of transfers too much of that vibration onto your desk because the material itself is light, right? So unlike the metallic cases where you oh, should I have put the, no, I think, wow, this is gonna be a tight fit, huh? So one thing that I will mention, so this prototype is like this smoke black colorway, right? And this prototype in particular, here there's a slot, and this slot right here in the middle is going to be for a authentication badge that GSK, I believe, designed. And that authentication badge, there's an example of it shown in the Notion page that I linked in the build command. So there will be some badges in there, made of resin, I believe. So GSK is making those, but those are currently not available for the prototype. But yeah, that's why this slot is here. It kind of looks orangey. Yeah. It's interesting. It almost looks amber. Also, you can see that the LEDs were on at some point. So you have some LED burn over here, bleaching. It is smoke, but the lighting makes it diffract the light and in like almost making it look like warmly toned. I think the copper weight certainly doesn't help. But it is like smoke gray, but it's also like sort of ambery because of the light passing through it. It's pretty cool. I personally have some modded. Did I miss the build already? Oh, the stabs were already pre-modded by Flying Sunny. Flying sent the board, and he was like, "Oh, the stabs were done, by the way." I was like, "Oh, okay, great." How the hell am I gonna put this cable on? This cable is like super short. Does this require? I'm gonna have major. Am I supposed to put the cable in and then through, and then connect it from here? Is that what I'm gonna have to do? From the outside, I guess I'll just do that then. It seems better, just like the unicorn, right? I think that's basically what you do on the unicorn, the R2. the cable is pretty short, so you attach it to the PCB first, feed it through the hole, and then attach it to the case, and then you put the weight on. So we'll do that. I thought the cable was gonna be longer, but I guess it's not. So we're just gonna do it the unicorn way. So that means you just take out the cable, unplug it for now, right? And then what we do is plug the cable in on the PCB side. That cable is average length. What's this length, guys? What's average length? I have a ruler. That's 3 and maybe 3.6 inches. That cable is pretty short. Yeah, it's pretty short. And then just like in the unicorn, you sort of feed it through here. So when you feed it, you just gotta make sure that the cable actually feeds all the way through and doesn't get bent in a weird way. So I'm just doing that while I'm looking here. Okay, so that's done. And now I have enough of the cable here. Okay. Average length and a ruler. What? Someone said how, I was curious how long, just curious, just curiosity, Okay. What are we paying you for then? Oh, you mean stab content? I mean, I could do separate stabs too, but why do separate stabs when these already work? Why fix when it ain't broken? And then now I have skill issue and try to fit the connector without, I'm just being lazy. I'm just trying to fit it without having to undo the screws. I'm being extra lazy here. Oh, there we go. I did it. Ha! Okay, to have a little extra cable here. Anyway, again, make sure that your cable doesn't get caught in the outside of the channel, because then you'll get pinched by the weight. Okay, there we go. Diego, do you by any chance know if there's another GAF 910 release coming? I don't know. My guess is no. The GAF 910 release actually has some controversy around it. So, well, I believe it was settled after the fact, but when the sales for the GAF 910 happened, the artisan maker whose art was featured on the GAF 910 hadn't been paid for collaboration on the design. And so I believe it was sorted out after the fact between the runner who was I guess it was Shuangmu at the time, and GAF, kudos of GAF. But yeah, it was it had its contentions. I'm assuming it doesn't help. Any GSK hunger corns for the build? Yeah, I can put a hunger corn. I have a couple. Let's do GMK Chocolatier on here. Okay. We could do that. Something is definitely wrong. No, no, no. It's not. Nothing's wrong with your internet. What's wrong is whatever Twitch is doing to my stream the past few weeks. It's been constantly throttling my ingest input, like for the server, from like the 1440p I'm outputting. It downscales it to 720p as the source, which is super annoying. I have no idea why it's doing this, but like I have adjusted settings. I have done everything I could to fix it, and it's giving me so much trouble. It's been so annoying. Is there a GMK set in the Noctua colorway like this MT3 set? Anyone know? Noctua colorway. Hanok? GMK Hanok is basically that color, no? Kind of. Close. Oh, I cannot watch any stream on my PC at all. Not even Alex or Marcia. Somehow my VPN back home works though, but I don't want to be tethered to it all the time. Oh, what the fuck? So weird. I swear to God. Lately, the quality of streams and streaming in general I feel like has gotten worse. I've noticed problems across other streamers as well. Diego, can you tell me why the hell a group of squids isn't called a squat? That would be good. What the hell? I don't know why. Because, oh, I know. Oh, the reason is obvious. The reason is that scientists or whoever, people aren't good at naming things. Particularly scientists, by the way. Scientists are not good at naming things. So whenever that was discovered or named, it was not done very well. That's dad joke adjacent? It is a dad joke, pretty much. They call them shits a fucking shoal. A shoal of squids? Really, science? Yeah, it's fucked. It's fucked. Yeah, there's a lot of things that are weird. Linguists, scientists, I mean, they're all kind of scientists in their own regard. Like, you could call them linguistic science people. Like, linguistic scientists are in a way studying language for the sake of knowledge of it. My connections go super slow whenever I try to boot up WSL2 for homework. What the heck? That is bizarre, Jer. I have no idea what the hell is going on. Oh, that's so annoying. As a scientist myself, I feel like I could do really well as a consultant on naming schemes. This is why people pivot from science to other things. Because they realize they could do better than the scientists on, or than the executives, perhaps, in the roles of making those choices. If you start a petition to change the name, you got my signature. Oh, hell yeah. ODM signature is worth like 1 million signatures. I know this for a fact. All my homies respect ODM. Alright. PCB is working, so that's good. Okay, cool. All right, so what keycaps do we want on this? Someone suggested Chocolatier earlier. Dracula? Oh, Dracula's a nice set. Yeah. You know, the other day someone suggested Future Funk, and I also thought that was a cool set. Yeah, there's a bunch. Drac would go hard. Beige. I feel like beige on Smoke PC is kind of a waste. Alright. Maybe we'll battle it out between the person who suggested Chocolatier and Dracula. And maybe I'll put in one choice of mine, which is Future Funk, just for fun. Because I think Future Funk can be fun because it has those like mods, right? So I'm gonna type this on stems. Key set. Dracula Chocolatier Future Funk. Oh my god, I typed Future Gunk. Future Funk. I do not have Modifier material. Yeah, okay, let's do that. Nah, do something even crazier. Copper. Crazy. R1 Hyperfuse? Hyperfuse. It could work. Let's just keep it at those three though. I think just three is fine. That way the vote is tighter. Tighter votes, guys. Alright. Between Dracula and Chocolatier, I feel the vote's gonna be half and half. So I'm sure no one will vote Future Funk. Oh, there's two people. Oh, what a waste of a vote. Just kidding. Future Gunk, Future Funk with a Greg face. Tokyo Nights. Yeah. Oh, Tokyo Nights would be cool. I don't have it though. I don't have Tokyo Nights. But yeah, that's a cool set. Oh, more votes than I thought for Future Funk. Okay. Ooh, it's 1-1 for Dracula and Future Funk. Oh, damn. Oh, damn. Ain't no way Chocolatier is losing. Unfortunately, it is. Man, it's 1-1. It's okay. We'll see what it ends up being, though. I'm kind of curious. Oh, hi, Kiwi. What's up? You want to come up here? No? He's contemplating it. Hi, come here. Come here. No? Come here. Come here. Kiwi, come here. Kiwi, come here. Kiwi. Kiwi, come here. No? He doesn't want to. I'll make space for you. Here. Come here. No? He's debating it. Oh! Kiwi! Kiwi! Oh! Kiwi came on his own. On his own volition. Oh my god, free will! Kiwi! You're so good. Thank you for blessing stream. Kiwi. Yeah. Okay, my stream might be 720p, but it's worth every damn pixel for Kiwi. Right? Good boy. Oh. Big meowers in this piece. Oh. Looks like Dracula won. Oh, okay. Don't worry, Jer. I'll give you back your points since Kiwi's here on his own. Oh, good boy. I'll hug him though. Oh, good boy, good boy. Chocolatier on the second build, please? Oh, okay, okay. I'll respect that redeem, Crispy Senpai. I get a free hug? When are we meeting up? Are you pulling up? Pull up to the meetup? Pull up to KeyCon. Pull up to KeyCon, and I'll give you a hug. And also for every time I go to any con or meetup, I'm always like, I hope as long as people shower, it's okay. Let me see if I can get a ticket now. They had their first drop, but the second one is not yet. So once the second drop happens for the tickets, you can get one then. Look, I'll hug Kiwi though. Kiwi, come here. Okay. Good boy. Okay. If I leave, he's gonna leave though. So I'm just giving him giving him a few pets and stuff before he has to leave. Cause he's gonna leave after I leave, cause he's gonna follow me. And then he doesn't come back. June 13, I might still be in Taiwan. Oh damn, no. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna go get Dracula. I won't delay this too much, guys. Oh, Kiwi's leaving too. Oh, okay. You're using me as a staircase? Okay, you're welcome. Alright. I'll be right back. I'll bring Dracula over. Okay, I'm back with Dracula and stuff. Okay, so this is most of the base kit, and then I think I should have some extra bits here. Spacebar, modifiers. What else do I need? I think that's it, right? Let's see. Okay, let's get some of the dust furs that Kiwi left. Blow those out a little bit. There's so many. Okay. Okay, now let's mount some caps. I noticed this does not have bump-ons. I don't think I saw any bump-ons on the case, so I'll put bump-ons on. I'll donate some bump-ons. Probably have some here. Let me see, is it here? No, I don't have bump-ons here. Bump-ons, bump-ons. Bump-ons. Bump-ons? Yeah, that works. Lube snaps, but no bump-ons? Yeah, no bump-ons for whatever reason. Let's put some clear ones. Scammed? Yeah. Will there be any meetups on the East Coast this year? There is a New York meetup in March. That's coming up pretty soon. Also, out of left field, peanut butter M&Ms are the best M&Ms. Peanut butter M&Ms are pretty good. Yeah, I'll agree with that. I don't know which ones I like best personally, but they're definitely on the top end for sure. I like the regular peanut ones too, like not the peanut butter ones, but the regular peanut ones as well. Oh, we have the accent arrows. Yeah, let's put them on. That'll look good. Some might say regular peanut ones are better, but nothing beats peanut butter. I'm not like a, oh holy shit, if I don't have peanut butter I'm gonna die kind of guy, personally. Like I like peanut butter, but not to that extent. Like I'm not like a prolific peanut butter consumer, so to speak. Like ever since I was a kid. It was my brothers actually enjoyed peanut butter a lot, but I didn't as much. Then again, I feel like I was a picky child. As a kid, I think I was just very picky about everything. So I think that might explain it. But so I didn't like a lot of things when I was a kid. Now I eat a lot of stuff, like pretty much everything. I don't think there's much I dislike actually food-wise. I'll be very adventurous about trying new things too and whatnot. Is Nutella still a popular thing in the US? I mean, it better be, because Nutella is great. It's a little sweet, but it's great. Do you know they have Reese's filled pretzel bites? I have seen those, yes. I thought Dracula was the red set. Red? No. Oh, you mean red line. March 14? Oh, that's the last day of my spring break? Oh, I see. I can go to New York on that weekend, maybe. Oh, really? Okay. Well, if you do, but obviously, you know, don't force yourself to come to New York for you know, on your last day of spring break, and feel like you're like having to make a big trek over it. I need at least one peanut butter and jelly sandwich a week. Okay, that's kind of crazy. One peanut butter PB&J sandwich a week? Oh my god. I don't even remember the last time I had a PB&J. Like, that's how infrequently I have PB&J. But okay. I mean, I'll respect it, man. that's a lot of PB&J though, but I respect it. Okay, so somebody asked for a hunger corn. So let me look for one that's appropriate for it. Not this one. I thought I had a more colorful one. Give me a sec. I might have it around here. Give me a sec. Okay. I brought some. So here are the hunger corns I have that I think could fit. There's one that's like blue, and then there's one that's like orange and more like orange and blue. I feel like I kind of feel like this one, but this one's fine too. Left one is cool. Has like brighter colors to kind of go with the blue. So left, right, okay. Who was the first person to suggest the hunger corn? So I'll go with their choice. I think it might have been Faithful Stranger, but yeah, it was Faithful Stranger who suggested it. So I'll go with right. Okay. All right. Faithful Stranger suggested it, so I'll respec. I'll put that on escape. And then I got some other caps here. And then maybe for that last one, let's do this guy here. Okay, actually, I'm gonna switch the oh, I need to take these off. I think this way is probably better. Okay, oh, that's better. All right. Chat, is this PC or Alu? This is PC. This is PC. PC. Okay, so put this to the side for now. All right. How do we feel about this, chat? Pretty good, no? Does it have brass inserts in the screw holes though? No. No, it does not. All right, let me set this up. All right, pretty good. Okay. Let me now pause that. Does it have gamer RGB? I believe it does have RGB. Let me check if I can turn it on. Is it on VIA? Actually, don't know. I don't see it on VIA, but I'm assuming there is. It did have like bleach spots for LEDs. I don't remember if the PCB had RGB underglow though. I don't think I saw them on the PCB earlier. Turn that shit on. It's okay. It's okay. All right. Does it have gamer gunk? No gamer gunk. All right. Let's try this out. Oh, it's a humidifier. I'm gonna go turn that off because it's kind of loud. Or can you guys hear that? The fan in the back? Maybe. Maybe it'll turn off on its own. Can you hear it? If yes, I'll just go turn it off. Okay, no response. I'll turn it off. Okay, Kiwi. I don't have my headphones, so I don't. Okay, yeah, it's probably too far away from the mic for you guys to hear it, to be honest. It's like all the way across the room, but sometimes fan noises get captured by the mic a lot more prominently than other things. Like I've noticed that my mic catches my PC fan noise a lot more than anything else, which is really weird because they're not even that close. But you know, and they're usually running on like very, very quiet, so it's kind of crazy. All right, let's try it out. Apologies for the delay. All right, so first switch that we're trying today is the Gateron fade switches on alu. So I'll type it in the chat. So this is top mount. All right, here we go. Wow, that spacebar is like thunk, thunk, thunk. It's like deep as hell. What the heck? That's an interesting spacebar. Yeah, a little too thuddy. Yeah. I agree. I'll probably swap the spacebar on this particular config. I'm sure this would sound fine on other boards though. The fades, they sound nice. The switches themselves feel and sound pretty good. I mean, you can tell from the alphas. But I think it's the mounting position. So this has a plate mount here and all the way out here. So there's like nothing in between here to hold it up. So I think that's it's the specific to the top mount of the 910 here. That's kind of doing that, I think. But you know, maybe in O-ring it would be different. But all right, let's try the mods, and then I'll switch maybe to different switch for the spacebar, and then we can switch to MX balance real quick. Okay. All right. Let's do mods. Very, very smooth switches, these Gateron fades. I actually like them a lot. Kind of a better alternative to like JWK smoothness. Very, very smooth switches. Kind of close to like what Oil Kings are like, in my opinion. But a little bit brighter than those. So, all right. So some people are suggesting to switch the spacebar to a Cherry MX Black, so I can do that. Good thing is we have hot swap today, so that's easy. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Okay. A little brighter, but still kind of on the 30-year side. So let's try it again. All right. Wait, is this? Oops, I didn't plug it in. That's my bad. Okay. Cherry MX Black on the spacebar. We don't have ads, right? Okay. No. Might need a long pole spacebar. We could try a long pole spacebar too, if you want. What do you guys think? Better? I think better, right? Definitely still on the 30-year side, but this is pretty much on par with other PC boards I've tried. So I'll say that much. Definitely, if you want a brighter sound, go with a long pole linear for sure. For sure. So go with a long pole linear if you're more on that kind of end of what you want for the sound. Like, you know, this is obviously more of an extreme. I have a long pole tactile. I have a Gateron Type R here from like a different build that I can swap in. Obviously, it's a tactile switch, so very different. But nonetheless, kind of like to show you what long poles would sound like in here. So long poles with long pole spacebar, it's like this. So that's kind of like what long pole tactile spacebar sound on this. One thing I don't like about heavy tactiles personally is that you hear the upstroke and the downstroke one thing I personally dislike about very heavy tactiles in general is that, and you can definitely tell much more clearly on a PC board like this one that kind of accentuates that like deep spacebar sound. So you can hear a lot more of that when it comes to tactile switches. I think MX browser are going to be a nice middle ground between those two extremes, like the linears and the tactiles. So we can try the MX Browns and see how it goes. Any chance in comparing these to other 910s in my collection? They're different. I have different builds. I can bring some if you want. But let's go through the builds and then let's do the comparisons, shall we? Oh, actually, let me see. What's my 65 built with? My 910 PC is built with MX Blacks on Polycarb, pretty sure. Yeah. And I think my V2ME has GATX, but that's an all alu board. I guess the only 65 PC that I have is the 910 RE. Yeah. Yeah. All right. I can bring the other boards though. Maybe I'll bring the 910. Give me a sec. I'll bring that over and we can try that. Okay. I'll be right back. I'll put the music on and I'll BRB. Okay, I'm back. So this is what the 910 RE looks like. I'm floating. What? Can we also switch to the copper badge? Yes, when I open it up. Or am I gonna open it up? But I guess I can open it up if you want me to switch the badge. That's fine. Not a problem. But this is what the other one looks like. Oh, with the music. Oh, didn't realize. Oh yeah, this is the previous iteration of the 910. There's a V1. So this one also has no threaded inserts for the PC. Yeah. You're going to see the bottom. Raw brass, stainless steel. And I have Serica on it. And so this one sounds different, right? You know, so and then this one has MX Blacks. on polycarb. A lot thinner because I'm using a polycarb plate. The mounting also on the polycarb plate for, or on the plate of the V1 910 is that the V1 has, you can actually see them. There's a mounting point here, 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 and then here, 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 here. So there's a mounting point on the spacebar as well. Whereas on the GAV 910 or the GSK 910, you'll see the points are here, 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 here. So yeah. So they're different mounting points. The versions are different. So inherently they'll have a very different sound profile. Yeah. Just different iterations of the board. And different designs effectively. This one it's a bit more angular compared to the slightly more curved corners of the new one. Yeah. Okay, so we were going to do switch to MX Browns. So let's do that. So I'll have to take off my keycaps. I have my 910 build with CF plate and MX Brown. Nice. That's a good build too. That's a nice build. You're going to stretch your stems doing that? I do whatever I want. It's my keycaps. And they're fine, honestly. I've had my caps for years and they're doing fine. So it's okay. Alright. Can we switch to the copper batch? Yes we can. I will do that after the rebuild. Gotta be careful with the bottom row ones. Just make sure my switch puller doesn't get on the plastic. Okay, so now this one's a little tight. There we go. Okay. surgery hands for these type of situations. Yeah, I mean, as long as you're like holding it with 2 hands, it's usually okay. I like to hold the board like with the one hand and then do the other one like this. Okay, it's done. Let's put these back. So there might be more switches than I need. Block. Okay, so now let's put these MX Browns on. Okay. Last couple of rows almost. Okay. Final row. Watch out for the flipped ones. Okay, and it's done. By the way, you know if Stinga will be showcased in SMKX? I believe maybe. Yeah, I think she said that there was going to be that she was taking the prototypes over. I believe so, yeah. I think yes. Okay, so I'm also replacing the badge, so I'm in the process of doing that now. Real question is, when are you showcasing it, Diego? I have no idea. First of all, there's no guarantee that I will. If Elaine reaches out to me about it, then yeah. But otherwise, as far as I'm aware, I don't know anything about it. I know as much as anybody else does, which is nothing other than like a few teaser scraps that she posted on, was it Instagram? That's it. Otherwise, she hasn't talked to anybody about it other than nobody else, actually. Don't think any of us actually know what's going on. Okay, I can't bother, so I'm just gonna take these off. My bad, poor phrasing. It wasn't a question. Oh. Oops. But yeah. I believe the prototypes are going to the Seoul meetup. Yeah, I'm not attending the Seoul meetup this year, but yeah, it's gonna be they're gonna be there. Every time I rebuild my Jane V2 or Jane CE or Jane V2C, I just hate all the screws. It's a lot of screws, that's for sure. Yeah. It is a lot of screws. Couple dozen screws, right? Okay. We're almost there. Because the badge is underneath the build, so need to get all the way to the build to do this. Be patient, chat. Just another 20 more screws. Yeah, exactly. You get the idea. Okay, so gives me the second chance to just make sure all my switches are nice and flush. Which some of them just may require a little extra push. Okay, good enough. And now there is a singular screw over here holding my badge. Any recent shows, movies you like, Diego? Movies we recently watched. Oh, so I mean, we have been on a bit of a vampire binge. So we watched Interview with the Vampire, and then we've watched all 6 seasons of What We Do. 6? Is it 6 seasons? Of What We Do in the Shadows, which was pretty fun. Was it this badge that you wanted to see? The coppery or the like the sparkly one. There's also the purple one and the blue one. And then recently, what else? We watched a few plays as well, like a few musicals, or at least a musical. We watched we saw Death Becomes Her, which was really good. But I haven't like caught up on any like current shows. Yeah. Like I feel like as far as current shows are concerned, all I'm watching right now is like anime, which is like I'm like the 2 shows I'm watching right now are like Frieren and Sentence to Be a Hero. There it is. Ooh, that looks good. Okay, now let's put the plate screws. Have you watched a new Game of Thrones show? No, I did not. I am not a Game of Thrones person in the sense that I never ended up reading or watching the show, reading the books or watching the show. My partner was into Game of Thrones, and then she soured away from it. She soured away from it because of there was some kind of like, wasn't there like a plot hole? I don't know. She explained it without spoilers, so I don't really like know the details, but she was like, yeah, I kind of didn't like it afterwards. You gotta watch the show except for the last season. Oh yeah, maybe it was the last season that she was talking about, but I don't know. We try to talk without spoiling to each other things, so yeah. Okay, now next thing is our DB. Plug that in. Mount it up. Screws. I didn't mind the last season after the third time. I feel like you shouldn't have to watch something 3 times to feel like something is justified or, you know, playing mental gymnastics over it. I'll admit the one anime trope that I hate is that one distinct type of anime gets popular and then the market gets flooded. Like, no Crunchyroll, I don't want to watch 50 billion isekai. That is true. That is definitely the problem with genres of like anime specifically. That is true. Yeah, I mean, but it does reflect sort of like the general, like, it's not just anime, right? Like, it's also because these things get adapted from the source material. So it's like the source material has to be popular enough for that to be like adapted into a show. So therein lies the issue as well. But it's also the fact that the anime attracts the money, right? But I'm not too familiar with Game of Thrones stuff. I mean, I'm only familiar with like some of the memes that people post and that obviously I've inevitably seen, which obviously includes spoilers, which I'm like whatever about. I personally am fairly unaffected by spoilers myself, but yeah. I love the show and I think we've watched it like 6 or 7 times. Wow. That's dedication. That's pretty impressive. My autistic kid is complaining his neck hurts. What do you think the problem is? Huh? Wait, now I realize I haven't caught one of your streams in forever and I feel bad. Oh, is that directed at Kim? Alright, we're finally done with the badge swap. So let's go ahead and finally remount our keycaps and listen to some MX Brown typing. Oh wait, Chocolatier? You wanted to see Chocolatier on this? Okay, I need to go get Chocolatier then. Give me a minute. Now I need to go get a different key set. Also, so the reason I was saying like I do whatever I want when I take off keycaps is that I don't just, so the way keycap pullers work, right, is you essentially have engagement of the keycap wire or the puller wire on both sides. On the underside, sort of like this, right? So I figured that when I'm doing this with my fingers, I go in with my finger, so like the tip of my finger goes all the way underneath this part. So it lifts it from as close to the stem as possible. So usually I haven't had stretched stems or stretched keycaps because of that. But yeah, if you pull from the edges, like if you pull your keycap just from the edges and you have sideways motion on the way up, yeah, you'll stretch your keycaps. But yeah, just, you know, if you're mindful of what you're doing, it's probably okay. But I haven't had issues with my keycaps getting stretched because of just like, you know, you kind of get used to it. But I mean, you know, I've tried a few things before I figured, and you can kind of like once you start doing it, you can kind of tell like some keycaps I do not touch other than with a keycap puller, like some PBT caps, some modifiers, and also some specific cases where the bezel, not the bezel, the surrounding area right on the gap between the keycap and the case is so narrow, you can't, like, there's no way. Like sometimes even the keycap puller is just barely enough, like it's like you're playing around with the wiggle room of the keycap to put the puller in there, and even that's kind of like, ugh. You're putting metal to metal, it gets me a little iffy. So sometimes I prefer using like my hands because it's like a little bit handy to do that. But anyway, I'll be right back. Chocolatier, right? Chocolatier. Okay, I'll be right back. I use my teeth like that shit, corn on the cob. Yeah, you get the idea. It's like all the way there. Okay, Chocolatier it is. So let's try that out. Okay, so let's see, backspace. Okay. Perfect. Use the one new novelty here. Give it a little flare. Maybe for the enter key, I'll do the golden ticket for this one since we have like a sparkly goldenish sparkle for that. Yeah, should be good, right? I think that's pretty good. Okay, all right. Extra bag around here. Can't wait for the R2 Chocolatier rerun. Yeah, it's happening pretty soon, I believe. I think Zambamon was posting teasers on Instagram and such pretty recently, right? I know that there was a whole discussion about kidding and whatnot in his server for a while. Alright, now let's put on some caps. Let's do, ooh, I have a nice brown bongo. Actually, maybe I'll move it to here. And I'll put this, maybe yellow. You know what? Maybe I'll do this one. The golden ticket will be our burger. Oh, it's kind of thick. Never mind. To look for some more. I have an art key. So boy here that could go here. And then I don't have too much brown stuff here. I'll just put some other ones. Maybe I'll put this GSK cap and maybe this guy here. Alright, good enough. Alright. Let's give this a shot now. Oh wow, this cable got tangled up in the time I... Oh, I see, it's just one. Alright, let's try it out. Okay, so this time we can put the side view cam here. Okay. Is that good? Alright. There it is. Alright. Let's try it out, shall we? Let's pause that music and let's give it a try. Now we have, this time we have, this is MX Brown's on Alu top mount. So let's give this a shot. All right, here we go. there's a little bit of rattle in that space bars. So there it is. I like it better with the tactiles, personally. I do think the Gateron Fate sounded pretty good on the alphas, but the spacebar sounds a little bit more balanced with the alphas with the allo plate and the MX rounds on this particular build, right? I don't know what you guys think. Okay, let's hear the mods now. Hear the mods. I think it's the plate cutout. If there is more spacebar cutout on the plate, it would be better. Oh, you think so? Oh, okay. Yeah, there's a little bit of rattle on this side, or on this side actually, on the right side. I'm a right thumb user, so that's why I hear it the more. But yeah, a little bit of ticking rattle on the wire there. It's probably just because it's, you know, it was tuned maybe like a little while back or something. But yeah. But yeah, I like it with the MX Browns better, right? I'll probably fix the stab a bit later on, but looks pretty good with Chocolatier too, right? Can show you guys what this looks like. So it looks like that. That looks good. That looks pretty nice, right? I like it. Yeah. Whoops. Oh. Yeah, that looks nice. That looks pretty good. Okay, so I can show you the design of the board now. So I can do this and minimize that. Now we can review the look of the board again. So that's what the board looks like on the underside. I personally really like Rainbow PVD, but I think it looks better in smaller accents than bigger ones. I personally find the bottom to be like a lot, but it does go nicely with smoke, IMO. But I like it on the Toblerone a lot, but I think the bottom one could honestly doesn't have to be the whole thing, right? But there's also a little nice 910 logo there, which is pretty cool. There's some artwork from GSK and a TGR logo right in the middle. So yeah, this is the smoke PC colorway. I think that Rainbow PVD would have been better in the middle piece. Yeah, so one of the Strong Moo releases did that, and one of the Unicorn commissions also did that, right? The Radcorn or whatever. Kind of like middle rainbow accent. That looked nice as well. Bottom needs CF. Yeah. The V2C special. And I can show you what the top side of the board looks like now. So here it is. With there's our coppery sort of badge, sort of like it's like sparkles. That looks nice. Very brown, yeah. So it's pretty interesting how this Smoke PC has a little tint of like an amber tone to the board, because I think it's like because of the copper weight and just the way the light goes through the thing. It must be shifting some of the color there, like, you know, how we perceive the color, and so it appears a little bit like amber almost. But it looks really cool. It looks really nice. The brown from Chocolatier actually works with the case here. If this were like a purely black case, I feel like it would not be as nice. But I think the PC, the very slight bit of translucency looks really good. Like, see, like, okay, like look at the sides here. Look at the very edges. You can see kind of like amber tone from like where the screw inserts are, or not inserts, but you know, like where the screw taps are, screw holes. It's like a slight amber like tone. But yeah, that's what the side profile looks like. It's a nice color. It's a Smoke PC, but it does have a little like extra flare with the way the light is kind of diffusing in the case and I guess diffracting really. Side profile is slightly different to the other GSK. Oh, is it? I actually don't know. I don't remember the previous GSK, but I mean it's still like you know, shelf on wedge styling. I didn't build the other GSK, the alu one, to tell ya, the 910. Yeah. I haven't used browns as I'm more of a linear person, but I bought some browns and I'm wondering how you lube yours. I have read a lot of mixed things on how they should be lubed, not, or as to not affect the tactility. I can show you. I don't mind. It's not a secret from me. I can show you because other people showed me too, and I don't really think there is a secret to this. Let me get my switch puller. So did I lube these myself? Yes, I think I did. So I'm gonna open this up. Okay. Let me get my stem holder somewhere here. If I can get it here. Stem holder. Okay, stem holder. Diego, Lamp is bullying me for liking black wires with black stabs. I feel like Lamp is bullying you for more reason than that. Not just that. There's gotta be something else. Black Air Force One. It's okay, Lamp, bully everyone. So a man of the people is what you're saying. Okay, so this is how I lube my MX Browns. So if you look at the stem here, you'll see lube on the side. So the other side is the same. So I lube both sides. Oops, come on, focus. I lube both sides. I lube this back portion. Actually, just got like the end of the brush. It just kind of got like, you know, it's because it's been like tapped a few times now. So you see some of the rails are more pronounced there. But the sides and the back, and then I don't touch the front. The front does not have any lube. I do not lube the legs personally. The reason being that I think if you, especially on like brand new MX Browns like MX2A or Hyperglides, whichever, any of those MX Browns, the leaves are pretty clean, and the front legs usually, well, there are some that come with the factory lube, and you just want to be careful about not spreading the lube from the factory lube area to the front of the stem, because a little bit of lube on the front of the stem will kill the tactility. The tactile bump is done by this part here that's slightly curved on the front of the stem, and that will kill your tactile bump if you lube it, in my opinion. Some people do lube it actually. It makes it very close to linear. like it's not completely dead of a tactile bump, but it definitely changes it significantly in my opinion. So I personally don't touch it at all. I lube just to make the side, like where it's most of the contact on the bottom housing, to be smooth, and then I touch with the brush a little bit at the bottom so that the bottom out is a little bit softer, but that's it. And then for my for the switch itself, I just do switch films. So here I'm using Swacky's films, and then a spring swap. And in my case, I'm using, I think, 62 gram Swacky's Chewy springs, and that's it. Yeah. In some cases, you'll find that I think in this batch, I didn't have that issue, but in some batches of MX Brown, sometimes the leaves will have a little bit of ping, and in those cases, what some people will do is they'll put lube right here in between this U-shaped portion here. There's like this U-shaped portion here, like inverted U sort of, and then some people will put a little bit of lube here as well to like address some of the leaf noise. If you're going to do that, just be careful. Don't want to do it too much. You also don't want to accidentally spread it to the front of your leaf, because that's going to affect your action of the switch. Do not use, so if you're using a brush, be careful. Don't use a huge brush. Be very careful and don't over apply lube. Like, less is more when it comes to lubing. And less is more. So, like, you know, if you're going to lube any part that's, especially anything that's electrically sensitive, like the leaves, just you know, be a little bit wary and be more conservative on your application. But yeah, generally for cherry switches, I tend to be pretty conservative on applying lube, so I lube pretty thinly. No more than a singular pass of the brush, and like, you know, as long as it's spread nice and thin is good, and that's about it. The ad I was from the last Twitch stream when I was watching, follow me into this one. Oh no, I'm sorry, nothing but Gia. Yeah. But anyway, MX Browns can be, in my opinion, I personally like them the most among the tactile MX, Cherry MX switches. Some people like Clears more because of their more aggressive tactility and the fact that they're roundly tactile compared to like other heavy tactiles that now exist in the other brands. But personally, amongst MX Clears and MX Browns, I prefer MX Browns a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, MX tactiles in general do suffer from some issues, and the most prominent usually is leaf noise. And actually, the heavier the tactility, the more pronounced it is. And so, but like you even notice it on MX Browns, which are pretty lightly tactile. And you know, that also has to do with the design of the leaf and all that. But you know, without getting into all that stuff, like it basically is, you know, not like the easiest switch to work with when you're modifying it. But hopefully this helps. Yeah. What about purples? Well, purples are the same as clears. They're just newer. They're like newer clears. So if you like purples, you're liking clears. They're the same thing. They're almost effectively the same thing. So yeah. I forgot the switches on my keyboard. I think they're milky yellows. Oh, milky yellows are nice. All MX switches are linear. Vin keys here comes with a very very hot take. But you know, that's understandable. Vintage keyboard enthusiasts are you know, and like, especially like when you know the gamut of different switches out there, MX switches in comparison, they really they really are a narrow range in my opinion. So I love him. Nice. Have you tried Gateron lanes? They use the Alp style click leaf for tactility. I have not tried them, no. I have heard of them though. I don't know who has tried them though, personally. Like, I personally know, I don't know. Yeah. A swing and a miss. Well, there you go. Vinkeys, who is a much bigger Alps head than I ever will be. says that it's a swing and a miss. So one more sound test for the boys. Yes, of course. Okay, we can do that. All right. All right. MX Browns on Alu. Here we go. So there it is. Yeah, the spacebar stab is a little rattly. That's just one thing that I did notice. I do wonder if I could address it with a little bit of extra lube, but I think I'm just gonna touch it up later on, after the stream. I need a nice PC board for a modern ALPS build. Yeah, Heine TKL1 is a nice board. I actually built one the other day. I actually still have it around here. The desk map feels something out of a Diego Familiar. Here. This is the Heine TKL1 we built the other day. Yesterday, actually. This was MX Clears. But yeah, that was the build from yesterday. But yeah, Heine TKL1, pretty nice case in my opinion if you're looking for PC and a TKL. Yeah. Cherry never lose. Is this Gary colorways? Gary? Oh no! It's the clear. It's a regular frosted clear. I have photos of the smoke one from a while back. I was actually looking. I was like, I thought I had never built a TKL1 in PC, but I did off stream, I think. Here I have photos of the smoke one. Yeah, that's pictures of the smoke one, actually. Yeah, you can see it, like it's here are the photos, but yeah, that's the smoke build, and that one's much darker in appearance compared to the clear one that I have right now. So pretty different. Yeah. But yeah, actually, well, you know, if you compare that other smoke case, it's kind of similar to this GSK one as well. So, may I ask why people don't often add inserts to PC boards? The main reason is actually that people do try to add them, but putting threaded inserts to polycarb boards can cause cracking in the board itself. So the problem with that is that you manufacture the board, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna have like threaded inserts, and then you put the threaded insert in there and the board cracks. So now you have a unit that you manufactured, and now it's not A stock essentially. So there's a high failure rate. Polycarbonate is a material pretty prone to cracking and whatnot, and so it's just a problematic material. It's just a difficult material to work with, as Svinsky's is alluding to. Machining wise, it's a harder material, like difficulty wise, like it's a more difficult material to work with for the machining bits themselves. And so like even if you design around the idea that you will use threaded inserts, the failure rate for putting those inserts into the cases can be pretty high. And so people suggest things like helicoil among other things, but yeah, it's just a hard material. It's just one of those unforgiving things among the materials that you can choose to machine with, and so that's mainly why. Like I believe the key called boards that were released through Novel Keys, I think it was the Polycarb 265 as well as the number 1 TKL that they released. Those also, people were like, oh, there's no threaded inserts and it's Polycarb. What a ripoff. It's because they tried putting the inserts, and like half of the cases that they put inserts into cracked from the inserts being put in. So yeah, the failure rate is just high. It's such a waste of the material when you plan around it and you try to do this right, just doesn't work. Yeah, like the failure rate of that was pretty bad, is what like Mike would say. Like I think he like did like talked about it on his server, as well as like in the Novelty server, as well as like a few of the like the office streams that they have. But yeah, like it's just high failure rate. It's just annoying to work with. So yep. Is ABS hard to machine? I actually don't know. I'm not a machining expert, so I'm unaware, but I know people who do work with polycarb, and it's an annoying material to work with. Yeah. So yeah, just another variable. It works in some cases. I'm sure. Like I think the difference also is when you are talking about an enthusiast, like quantity grade, like board, and you have you say you want to sell 200 units, 100 units. You manufacture with an overhead, assuming that you're gonna have failure. I think it's easier for like there's companies out there, right? Like especially like a lot of the Chinese companies, right? Like they have the bandwidth to have that failure because they're so much closer to the manufacturing themselves. It's cheaper for them. The failure, even if it exists, they can, there's more to be done about it. But when you work with specific quantities, specific runs, like where you allocate an amount and then you can't go too much far away from that, you end up wasting too much money and too much material, too much time. So yeah, I think that's mainly why a lot of boards don't have it, especially amongst the enthusiast run stuff. Even if it's run by like a pretty big company, like I mean by big I mean like Novelties is pretty it's a sizable business nonetheless, right? Like they've been running for many years and they've run successful a lot of stuff, and they've had like big runs of stuff and smaller runs of stuff, but like they still do run some like enthusiast boards here and there. Like one of the ones that I'll be reviewing pretty soon is I think the Hope TKL from 4AS, and that one is basically like your 50 to 100 board MOQ type of enthusiast run board, and so like they run stuff like that too, like with third parties and whatnot. But they also have their own projects that are much larger in scale too. But even then, I think the overhead of that has also decreased, especially with the current times and the tariffs and this whole stuff. So it's difficult situation to navigate, I think. Just adds an extra variable. Why is polycarb even popular? I never understood this. Is polycarb even strong? The answer is no, but the reason polycarb is popular is because it looks nice. It looks nice and it provides an alternative of a case material that sounds significantly different from aluminum and like other material cases. That's why. Because it looks cool. I mean, this is like you asking yourself, why did why did Nintendo make those frosted translucent variants of like the Game Boy and like like other consoles? Because it just looks cool. Because there's probably demand for it, but the polycarb like appeal is really that they sound different, they look very unique, compared to like a like a reflective metallic case. So that's the appeal. Purple GBA sort of iconic. I mean, but that's like the sort of thing. Like I remember, so I own this board for a reason. I have a very funny story, like history with the 910, specifically the Polycarb 910. This one's kind of like has its flaws. It's like has a bunch of scratches here and there, right? But like I remember I first saw the 910 Polycarb photos, like Yutzi posted some and like a few people like talked about it, and I was like, oh, that looks cool, kind of want that, it looks very unique. But I was also scared of the same things. I was like, I don't get polycarb, it seems like a material that's going to scratch so easily. Because it's true, like you have other random things made out of plastic and they're frosted, and you like pass your fingernail like this once and it's just like the scratch stays there forever. You can't like erase that. And I was like, what's the point? So I was like, it looks cool, but it's just as expensive as an alu board. Why do I want it? I don't really want it. So actually so back then, like Yutzi was more like, he was just like a regular enthusiast, right? Like he was just like a regular like enthusiast, just like hung out in the Discord servers and like chatted with people and all that. And he reached out one time and he was like, this was like way before I was like doing a lot of the streaming and that kind of stuff, right? I was just like collecting and buying and like just being a normal person, like just like hanging out and bantering like with everyone, like the bigger servers. Like I think back then it was like Mechkeys was like a very big server, and so one time he reached out and this was like on Keycaps, and he was like, do you want a PC 910? This is the group this is like the small run cost, and like do you want it? And I was like, no, I actually have no money for it, and I also, I guess I'm okay, like I'll be fine. I'll wait for a 910 alu version that I want to enter for, and I'll get that. And I said no. The regret set in pretty quickly after they delivered, and it took me years to get one again, and like it is still, like, I consider it's still one of my biggest choice regrets that I had back then. So yeah, it took me like, oh man, I don't even know, like it took me years to get one again. So yeah, that was funny, but yeah, I remember being like, no, it's okay. Oh, here, polycarbonate case. Yeah, so like he offered me, blah blah, let me know if you're interested, and I was like, okay, this was just, I was just asking questions. Where's the latter DM? Anyway, I basically said like, I'm good, and this was 2018, early 2018, and then I didn't get one again until like late 2019, like 2 years ish later almost, and eventually got one. But yeah, I remember regretting that choice. Yeah. What happened to make you change your mind? I just thought it was pretty. I just thought it looked nice. I wanted it because it looked nice. And back then, there were no polycarb cases. It was like the first one that I remember seeing in like the like the enthusiast custom level. It was like the only one. And so it was really hyped up for that reason. I mean, TGR was not like it was hyped up already, but like the polycarb case specifically was a unique thing of that time. And I was like, nobody else was doing it. Nobody else. Like, yeah, there was like Duck who did the acrylic bottoms. Yeah. I think Lin back then, Lin, Korean custom designer as well. He was back then. He was Korea focused only. Like all the buys were Korea restricted. So there were like rare material cases too back then, but it was very hard to get them from Korea. Like Lin Whale for a long time, it was like $1,500 or whatever like that, because like no one could get it outside of Korea. And then yeah, TX did like acrylic bottoms. Yeah. So there were like makers who did plastic bottoms and whatnot, but like full CNC machine polycarb cases. This was one of the first few boards that I remember vividly being like, oh shit, that looks really cool. Yeah. Did you try a PC board and you got a boner at a meetup or something? No, I just saw it at I just saw more pictures as people started getting it, and I was like, fuck, I should have said yes. But then it was true. I didn't have the money for it. I like had spent on other stuff, and I also was 2018. I was in school, so I didn't have really much. I didn't have much of an income, if at all. So yeah, I didn't have the money for it, and so I was like, oh, I'm gonna pass. I'll just get something else some other time. So, just get a payday loan? Oh my god. Yeah. Crazy. I remember there was a guy who I remember there was some dude who posted on one of those subreddits that you can borrow money, and I was like, that shit's crazy. I still have I have a Cake 60 plexiglass. That's a cool board. I think the Cake 60 is a super cool board. Plexiglass made. I think that's super cool. I think that's a cool board. One of those plastic boards that I think are pretty unique. Cake 60. Yeah. Anyway, that's the story. I guess I will wrap up the story time here, and yeah, but yeah. Thanks for checking out the GSK 910 tonight. I hope you guys like the board, like the build. So as the Notion site says on the build command, these are coming as a static shock. As a drop. I think they said at the end, towards the end of Q1. So next month, most likely. They're just preparing everything. They're waiting on samples for they have pictures for the smoke one, which is this one, and they have pictures for the blue one, but they don't have pictures for the orange one or the clear one yet. They're doing 4 colorways, and they're offering aluplay for the default kit, and PC and copper as well for extras, and then you can also buy hand cast resin badges like this one from GSK, and I think the kits are estimated to be around 500 and some US dollars plus shipping, I assume. So GSK, not gasket. Yeah, GSK as in the artisan maker golden star keycap from this logo. Yeah, just do exclamation build. It's in the it's linked. It's all linked and detailed in that little note page that I did. That's a page that I drafted based on some of the notes that Mechlovin sent out for the board. So yeah. Anyway, sorry that tonight's build was once again I guess kind of made worse by the Twitch network thing. I don't know what's going on. I've checked my settings and I've tried to make sure that I don't have any more issues with this, but the past week and a half, every time I stream, I've been having issues. Either the frames drop or the resolution drops. The frames don't drop and now the resolution drops. Right now I think I'm on 720p for whatever reason, even though my output's at 1440 or at 1080 even. I've tried both already. So no idea. My bitrate's pretty normal. My connection's fine. So it's all handled on the downstream side of the stream. So no idea. I'll continue to troubleshoot and see what I can do to make it 1080p again at least. But yeah, it's been annoying to say the least. Maybe what I'm gonna do is I think what I'm gonna do is turn off the multiplexing, which is what allows you to watch between, like, let's say if you have 1080, then you can downscale to 720, 360, whatever. I think I'm gonna remove the multiplexing completely from my setup and just put 1080 only or something like that and see how that goes. Yeah. I swear I heard this song on the Wes Anderson movie, maybe. Yeah, it's a playlist of a lot of songs. So, but anyway, Twitch thought overload, network congested, too much traffic sometimes. Yeah, it's possible. I don't know. It's been happening the past couple weeks. I'm assuming it's like a mix of the whole like weather thing, servers being crap. I know that Twitch actually cut out like half of their servers in the US, I swear to God, because when I refresh my server list on the ingest, like the stream side, it was like the list whittled down a lot. Like some of the like the New York server doesn't exist anymore. It's like the closest server to me is like Ashburn, Virginia, and like Ohio or some shit. So they're not close to me anymore. Like there was a New York ingest server before, but they cut that shit out. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I can now officially blame it on, yes, as someone said, the government perhaps, and AI. So so yeah, it's fucked, man. So here we are. We're just gonna make do with what we can do. Okay. All right. I've been talking for so long. Like my voice is like tired. Okay. Let's see. So I believe Pika J is streaming a spider build, so we can raid over there. But once again, thank you for showing up, for sticking around, for asking questions, for hanging out. I'll see you guys on the next one. It might be tomorrow, so we might have a stream again tomorrow night. And that will be the Hope TKL if it arrives on time. If it doesn't arrive on time, then no stream. But it might be tomorrow around the same time, or maybe a little earlier. But you know, we'll see. It depends on the mail. So if it arrives sooner, then great. But I will perhaps see you tomorrow. If not, I'll see you later this week. Okay. All right. Well, take care of yourselves and have a great rest of your night or day. And see you later. Good night. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.